Hello and welcome to Tabletop 24, and thank you for joining us for this unboxing of the Marvel Champions Hero Pack Nebula. So this is one of the latest hero packs for Marvel Champions. In each obviously hero pack you will have a deck of cards specifically for that hero pre-built and some extra ones for the set. So as always with this sort of thing, I tend not to try and spoil myself too much, so don't give too much away when we go into building the deck. So here we have the inserts. Don't ask me why, but I am still keeping these. Prosperity or Eclecticism. Then we have the hero pack blurb, any relating keywords, the game credits, the justice set that is going to be in here, and then the hero poster on the back. Some of these hero artworks are really quite nice to have copies, so we keep all of them as well. So let's try and get into the deck. Now, at this point, I believe Nebula is the only character to appear as a hero, an ally, and as a villain. So we've definitely got the right sort of different personalities for Nebula. So Nebula as a hero has got combat protocols. So after your turn begins, resolve the special ability on each technique upgrade you control, then discard each technique upgrade. Resolve this way. So 2/2/2, so quite average. And then Nebula as an alter ego, cybernetic upgrades response. After you play a technique upgrade, draw 2 cards once per round. So you're going to be using that to build up. So we've got a hand size of 6, hit points of 9, and a hand size of 5 for the hero side. So quite fairly standard. And let's have a look at the signature cards. So also a hero in the game, we have Gamora. So here she appears as an ally, 2/2, and after you play Gamora, choose a technique upgrade you control, then resolve its special ability. So that's quite nice. It's going to be using those techniques. So I would imagine we'll see a few of these. Nebula's ship. So exhaust it and generate a resource. So that's quite nice to have. And we have 2 copies of Cutthroat Ambition, which is a technique, so boosting off the hero ability. And while Nebula is in hero form, her attacks gain piercing and overkill, and then the special ability it resolves remove 3 threat from a scheme. So again, she's going to be quite versatile there. And then we have 2 copies of Unyielding Maneuver. Did I say? No, sorry. We have 1 copy of Evasive Maneuver. While in hero form, Nebula ignores the guard keyword, the patrol keyword, and the crisis icon. And then special, choose to either stun or confuse an enemy. Unyielding Persistence. While in hero form, she gets +1/+1 for thwart and attack, and gains stalwarts. And then special, give Nebula tough status cards. She's going to be very versatile with these upgrades. Then we have 2 copies of Weapons Master. While in hero form, Nebula gains Retaliate 1 and then deal 4 damage on the special. And then we've got another technique on 2 copies of Wide Stance. While Nebula is in hero form, reduce the amount of damage she takes from each attack by 1. Look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck and discard 1 and put the others back in any order. So that's the technique. And then we have 2 copies of Combat Ready, which is an alter ego action. Choose 1, shuffle up to 2 technique from discard into the deck, or discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard a technique and put that into play, resolve it with special ability. So calling back all of those technique cards there. Then we have 3 copies of Lethal Intent. Hero action, choose up to X technique upgrades you control, resolves each of their special abilities in the order of your choice. So a throwback there to a similar mechanic of Black Panther. So one thing I did notice off the top of those signature cards, they're all quite cheap. So hopefully we're going to be burning them out and getting those techniques out and rolling through them. So as we say, as we've already seen, Nebula is a justice hero. So we're going to see what we've got in the form of the allies. So we've got Eros. So 2 thwart, 1 attack. And after you play Eros from your hand, confuse a minion for each science resource used to pay for him. Wraith. Hero interrupt. When a boost card is turned face up, exhaust Wraith and deal 1 damage to him. Cancel the card's boost effect. And then we've got Venom, Flash Thompson. So Agent Venom. You may be familiar with him from the one of the other hero packs we've recently had. And then we've got 2/3. While there is no threat on the main scheme, reduce all consequential damage Venom takes by 1. Okay, so it's quite a stalwart character. Then we have 3 copies of Justice Served. Play under any player's control. Max 1 per player. Hero response. After you thwart and remove the last threat from a scheme, discard Justice Serves. Ready your hero. So quite nice with some of the other Justice cards in the game. With 3 copies of One Way or Another. Max 1 per round. Search the encounter deck for a side scheme. Reveal that side scheme and draw 3 cards. So giving you that little bit of punishment there, but hopefully being able to draw stuff that you're going to need. Then we've got 1 copy of Determination as a resource. And after you spend this card, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. That's quite a versatile resource, but obviously not doing too much else there. And then we've got 2 copies of Power of Justice, so doubling up on Justice cards to pay for them. 3 copies of Brains Over Brawn. So after your hero makes a basic thwart, deal damage to an enemy equal to your hero's thwart. So that's quite nice. And then 2 copies of the upgrade Heroic Intuition. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player, gain 1 thwart. So those will work quite nicely together. So a mix of costs there, quite expensive allies really, but some versatile cards. So the basics, we have Cosmo. And we've already seen Cosmo previously before, but a different version. And he's 1/1. When Cosmo attacks or thwarts, name a card type, then discard the top card of a deck. If that card is of the name type, Cosmo does not take consequential damage, the damage under thwart or attack for this use. So with a 2 health there. So that's quite useful if you know the deck. I mean, I think people have overpowered that with Doctor Strange potentially, but I think that's a bit broken. Then we've got the Support of Nowhere. Play only if you have the Guardian trait. Increase your ally limit by 1. And after a player plays a Guardian ally, exhaust Nowhere and that player draws a card. So quite useful for the Guardian allies. Daughters of Thanos. So one of our team up cards. So with Gamora. Hero action, draw 3 cards. That's quite nice if you're playing the 2 together or you manage to get the Gamora ally from the deck out. 2 copies of First Aid. So standard card, healing 2 damage. And then we've got the 3 standard strength and genius and energy resources. On to Nebula's obligation. Inferiority complex. If you've seen the canon, obviously she believes herself inferior to Gamora. Probably Thanos' fault. And you may flip to alter ego form to choose exhaust your alter ego and remove inferiority complex from the game, or choose and discard 2 technique upgrades you control. If no upgrades were discarded this way, this card gains surge. Discard this obligation. So quite punishing there. Then we've got the Gamora Minion. So obviously the Gamora Minion and the Gamora ally cannot be in play at the same time. So one will force the other one out. And that is a 2 scheme, 2 attack, 6 health. Force to interrupt. When this minion would enter play, discard the Gamora ally. So it forces the ally out. And force your response. After Gamora attacks and damages you, choose and discard an upgrade you control. Literally ripping Nebula apart. Then we have Self-Preservation as a side scheme. Nebula gets -1 thought, -1 attack, and -1 defense. Gamora gains 1 attack, and her attacks gain piercing. So quite nice if you are playing with the Gamora hero, but could be quite punishing. Then we've got lethal weapon. Attached to Gamora, if you cannot, attach to the villain. And as a hero action, discard and upgrade you control, discard this attachment. It's giving the Gamora Minion or their villain +1. Then 2 copies of Old Rivals. When revealed, Gamora attacks you. If no attack was made this way, this card gains Surge. So obviously if you've got rid of Gamora out of the game, it's just going to surge onto the next card. Then we've got our Nebula deck card, which is quite nice. 3 copies of Energy Spear. So attached to a Guardian ally, max 1 per ally. Attached ally gains +2 and its attacks gain piercing. That's quite nice. 3 copies of Guardians of the Galaxy. Play under any player's control, max 1 team card per player. If each of your characters have the Guardian trait, this card gains response. After you play an upgrade on an ally, draw a card. So really pulling on sort of a leadership Guardian build there. 2 copies of Defensive Training. So max 2 per deck. Uses 2 training counters as an alter ego action. Exhaust this card and remove 1 training counter from it, and choose a protection event in your discard pile and shuffle it into your deck. So giving yourself some recycling. Then we have another copy of Daughters of Thanos to put into Gamora. And then 3 copies of Honorary Guardian. Play if you only have the Guardian trait, attached to a friendly character, and it gains the Guardian trait. So going quite well with the Guardians of the Galaxy if you're not running a full Galaxy Guardians build. Okay, so we've got some nice cards that we're looking forward to trying out in the Marvel Champions card game. Hope you like this unboxing for the deck in a bit more detail than we normally have done. If you haven't done so already, please check out our other videos on the channel, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.